Well, it seems like I say the same thing every year. The season seems to be coming quicker and quicker. But myself and the coaches are very excited to get started here. A new year. We obviously didn't like how we walked off the field last year. So anytime that happens, we're really excited to get going again and start the new 2015 season. It's a very good group coming back. We have a number of players back from last year's team as far as starters and midfielders and defensive players. So fall ball went very well, a little smoother than usual because you're not doing as much teaching. I think when you have so many players coming back, it's more of a refreshing group than it is to go out and do a lot of X's and O's, although we did spend time with the freshmen and the transfers coming in. So again, we're very excited to get going with the 2015 season.
Was there already reintegrating Randy's thoughts? I know he's ineligible in the fall. Was he practicing? What do you kind of expect from this season?
Well, I think we expect a great year from him. He missed a few games last year. Was I think our second leading scorer coming off of last season after missing maybe 4 games. So it's great to have him back. And I think what helped get him on the field so quickly last year was how well he picked things up. He's really a quick study, and I think that helped him get out there and be so productive early on. So not too much more with Randy this year. He's coming off the World Games, so he stayed in shape over the summer, and he had a great fall. So we're excited to get him back out there.
Was there toward the end of last year any kind of revolving the offense around him toward the end of the year? Because he really picked it up after that corner.
Yeah, anytime you've got a group like Kevin Rice, Dylan Donahue, Derek Maltz was turned out being the 4th attackman and ran in the midfield also. Dylan Donahue, so that's a terrific group. So it's hard to focus on just one player. And I think if you looked at our stats, a lot of people had their best defenseman on Kevin Rice, with all the points, and that left the second guy and the third guy to cover Randy. So he was very productive. Yeah, that's. I'll tell you what, that's tremendous. I think probably know it's the same floor print as the Carrier Dome, and I was just out there about an hour ago, looking at the goals and looking at the setup. So we're really happy to be out there tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock with our run test, and then we start on Wednesday. We go 2 a day, so we'll be out there twice a day. And you probably noticed this from walking, from outside how cold it was. And that's really what we dealt with last year. I think we were in here, we were in Manly, which is, very good also, but it's not the same. Having 80 yards isn't the same as having 110. So we're really happy to get out there and get going on 110 yards. I think if you look at our seasons traditionally, we have such a great schedule, especially early in the year, that not having a full field has hurt us at times. So I think if anything this year, it'll help us get off to a better start. And we're probably going to have to watch ourselves, especially as a coaching staff, to monitor the team. Maybe there's such a thing as peaking too early. So we're going to kind of watch that as we go along and adjust our practices accordingly.
What have you kind of seen from Tim Barber, and what role do you kind of expect him to take coming off the year last?
Well, he's another one that played for Chuck Wilbur at OCC, and very impressed with his ability, and also very impressed with his learning curve. He's picked things up pretty quickly. That doesn't always happen. And I think it's, whether it's younger players or transfers to your program, he's a young player as far as the Syracuse University is concerned. We've only had him here in the fall. And I'm impressed with his IQ. He's picked things up really quickly. Even when freshmen coming in nowadays, there's so much to learn, offensively, defensively. Him being a little bit more at the offensive end of the field, having to learn the zone offense, inverts, regular offenses, and he's done it, and he's done it pretty quickly.
And I know he scored a goal last year, but do you kind of see him maybe taking that role a little bit more back since some of the attacks you guys have already?
Well, when you say, you mean taking, what do you mean by that?
Maybe not carrying so much of a scoring load for you guys since you guys already have that.
Yeah, I think that with us, I think you're going to see balance. I think the attackmen are on the field for 60 minutes, so you usually get more points out of them. But we'll watch. He's coming in with the attack back. We're running him more in the midfield. We have used him at attack this year also in the fall, and I think it's wherever we need him. He could give he could give one of our starting attackmen a break if we need to. But he's, again, we're very happy. He's done a great job. He's picked it up quickly, and I I don't know if anyone can score as many points as he did in the season for us, but we're happy to have him here. Well, you know, I think you know, Warren would probably tell you too that Bob had a great fall, and Warren has had to come in, you know, learn what it is to be on, you know, the man down unit, clears, even in riding in situations, and our different defenses. He's got to be, you know, goalie has to be a quarterback. He's got to be a communicator with the defense. So there's a lot for him to pick up. I thought he finished the fall. Warren finished the fall very well. But Bob's just been very consistent and done a great job and has become more vocal this year. A couple other guys doing pretty good too. Yeah.
I know at the alumni game you said that there's a couple of the transfers that are coming in, but maybe the primary guys take face-offs, and you kind of had more clarity on that situation.
Yeah, the new guys have done very well. Ben Williams has done a good job. Vihar has come in, you know, brother of one of our defensemen in the past. He's done a good job. So it's been very competitive there all fall, and even we'll see starting in a couple days. But how the guys come back, we'll know the conditioning of not just the face-off guys, but the whole group tomorrow afternoon, and we'll know what we're going to be working on going forward starting on Wednesday.
Would you say those two guys, you know, Vihar and Williams, are the two guys that are really competing right now?
Yeah, I think it goes a little deeper than that. Jogo's done a nice job. All the guys. We'll see. You know, we'll see how much they've picked up. They've all been practicing on their own over the break, so it's almost a month of workouts on their own, and we'll see who's ready to go.
Other questions for Coach? It's probably a little easier in previous circumstances. How do you, football team, balance schedule?
We've talked with the football staff, and there's already a schedule in place. And you know, we could even do a combination of things using this to maybe warm up in and head on over there as soon as they're done. You know, the women are in there too. And then what's great is we have the field also, or outdoor, the Wolf field, so that if we get the weather, we'll get outside. There were a number of years ago, I can remember it was an unusual spring, and we had the dome quite a bit in the preseason. And it was funny, we went down and played Cornell and lost to Cornell. And I could tell that the weather had a lot to do. It was a terrible night out at Sholkoff. It was freezing cold, and our guys weren't used to it. And your guys were trying to pick up ground balls with the wrong side of their stick, and because their hands were numb. And I think Cornell beat us that day, and I attribute not, you know, to obviously great play from Cornell, but to us just not being acclimated to the outside. And here we are, Syracuse University in central New York, and we weren't used to the weather. So we've got to get out there, and you know, for some of the games that we're going to be playing outside, we could run into some cold weather, and we've got to make sure we're acclimated to it also.
Talk about Warren Hill, kind of just adjusting. Are there any moments or anecdotes you can kind of point to where you saw some growth?
I think, you know, we finished the fall with some scrimmages against Bellarmine and Binghamton. And I thought in the game situation he showed very well. You know, I think the whole team played pretty well. You know, both games we were probably lopsided our way as far as possession time. So the goalies didn't get, it wasn't like they were peppered and you could really see them, you know, taking a lot of shots. But I thought that the shots that he did take, he finished strong. And he looked good. I think you're going to see this year the Jordan Evans that we recruited out of high school. I think last year, as you mentioned, you know, the injuries threw him off. There was a point where we were even thinking about redshirting him, but he came back from the injury and was able to go. And I think he's just had a great fall. I know he's worked very hard in the off season over the summer, and he, you know, he's one of those guys that just rolls up his sleeve and puts a lot of time in on his own. And he came back and had a great fall. You know, he stayed pretty healthy for the most part, and you know, just looked good. He's out there. We ran him two positions, and I talked about that with him and with you guys last year. Anytime you're playing two positions, attack and midfield, it can become confusing at first. He picked it up very well, but once you get it and you learn the attack position, you know the midfield position. once you get it, now whatever position you play, if he's in the midfield, he knows where the attackmen are supposed to be because he's been there. And if he goes in an attack, he knows where the middies are supposed to be within the offense. And it's just, I think, making him more of a complete player. He's played very well this fall.